I'm live. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Relentless Fit 365. This is your weekly Q&A where we talk about fitness and nutrition and anything else that matters to you so you can just live a healthier and happier life. And today, as you can see, I have guests with me, Rich, and I'm pretty excited to see what he has to say in this category because this is something that he can relate to very well. I know many of you can relate to this subject as well, so I'll be happy to hear your comments as they're piling in already, ready to discuss this subject. So Rich, to start off right away, you're 26.
Yes.
And he's been working out for about 3 months now.
That's right.
And these are the results that I posted on Facebook. You saw his muscle. It was ripped and bulging.
I was 26.
26.
Yes, 26.
Actually, you guys know that he is not 26, but
I'm 46, going to be 47 here in 3 weeks. So the AARP is getting ready to make pamphlets for me.
Okay, so let me ask you the first most obvious question. Have you always been into fitness?
Well, growing up, yes. Sports was big in my family. I played basketball, baseball, ran track badly, but did track for basketball primarily.
That makes sense.
Played basketball in college for only 1 year, but it was a great experience. And then after that, I also played tennis, but after that it kind of fell off the cliff.
And so how old were you when you decided, fitness or sports and stuff, it's just not for me?
Well, I don't know that I decided it so much. It's just that, when you play in high school and you do some in college, once you get out, there's not really a lot of great avenues to do competitive sports, depending on where you live. Chicago's a great city. You can always find something here, but I lived in Michigan,
right,
in the suburbs, and that's not really a great place to find a lot of activity that you can easily get to.
Yeah, makes sense.
And, I was in my early 20s, wanted to have fun, priorities were kind of out of whack. And, I'm sure a lot of people out there can relate to their 20s.
All right, yeah, sure, early 20s. So what took place, let's fast forward a little bit. Okay. Let's get past some of that. And what took place in your life where you decided, okay, now it's probably time for me to get into better shape? How old were you?
I was 44. So
wait, so you weren't 26? This was like years later?
Yes,
okay.
This was years later. It was a slow decline into couch potato-ness. I was 44. Yeah, I was really reaching a point of feeling pretty down on life, and I was terribly out of shape, probably 20, 30 pounds overweight when I started here. I mean, people didn't realize that because I've always been tall and slender.
Right.
So I hid the gut very well. People are like, oh, you're too skinny. I'm like, well, you haven't seen my gut. And skinny guys tend to carry it right there.
I want to talk about that later on.
Yeah,
too,
so I remember something was wrong with my TV. The audio went out, so I had to get back behind my TV to check the cable. And it was like a 3-minute job, and it was the hardest job.
Yeah.
I mean, I was sweating. I could barely get in a squat. It hurt.
Yeah.
I was creaking. I mean, literally, my bones were creaking. I got back to the sofa, and I was like, I'm too young to be feeling this old. And the next day, I got online and started looking for a trainer. I'm like, I won't do this on my own. I mean, I'll try. I'll give it the college try. And,
So when he exhausted all material, then he came across me and said, well, okay, everybody else is too expensive. There's this guy.
But it was close.
I was close. It was
actually the one thing I did like about you, because there was between you and another trainer, is that you had links to YouTube stuff, so I could actually see what you did.
Right.
And I liked it because you were a little crazy and you were having fun.
Yeah. Exactly. And I'm glad you said that.
I didn't want to just go somewhere where I'm like lifting a weight from point A to B.
And it's one of the things we stand behind. Fitness should have some fun to it. We understand there's pain. And the pain is what usually repels people from doing and going to the next levels or actually keeping people out of the gym.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to hear that. So we came in. I remember this like it was yesterday.
Yeah,
you sat down. And what were your expectations from that moment of like what you wanted to get out of fitness?
Oh, they were way out of whack. I figured I'll go hardcore for 3 months and I'll be ripped. Yeah. So that was my theory. Yeah. It was not to happen that way. Yeah. So I had to build a foundation, and that took a good 8 months to build a solid foundation.
Yeah.
I committed. I said when I was going to do this that if I gave myself 100% effort on this, if I stuck to it, what could I look like? What would I be? If I actually did 100% and didn't back off. And I kept that in my head. So, the 3 months turned into 4, turned into 6, turned into 8, turned into 12, and now it's almost 3 years later, and I'm still here.
So you could say now safely that it's a lifestyle.
Oh, it's definitely a lifestyle. I mean, there's still a challenge to it because, fitness lifestyle isn't like the Playboy lifestyle. It's work. It really is.
Right.
I mean, so a lot of people get turned off by that, but, nothing in life, in my opinion, is worth a darn unless you work for it.
Right.
So...
Okay, so do you think that where you're at now, and you can talk to the Rich that was sitting here 3 years ago, are you at that image that you had in your mind?
I think I'm beyond the image.
The aesthetics, or
Yeah.
all, like, just completely in general?
Completely.
Okay.
So, I mean, in the first 6 months, you challenged me to do a Spartan race.
Yes.
So, I ended up doing 3 of those. So, my first 2 years were really training around getting ready for Spartan race. Now I'm training for something different. The great thing about living a fitness lifestyle, because that's my goal. So a lot of people set goals like, I want to lose 10 pounds, I want to fit in this dress. Or a guy would be like, I want to get down to a 33 waist.
Right.
And, as soon as they get there, they're like, okay, I'm done. With a fitness lifestyle as your goal, it's always changing, it's always growing, it's always evolving into more and more and more.
Yeah.
So you never reach a finish line, which is great. You're always shooting for something. You never get to the point where you're like, oh, I've made it, I'm done.
Right.
Because when you're done with something, you're done.
So taking what because you've learned a lot in the last
Yeah.
3 years, and he's done a lot in the last 3 years, and we've gone through some pretty crazy hikes.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on some hikes with him. I would definitely trust him with my life, certainly based on a lot of things that we've done. But with that, what would you recommend to people who are over 40 and they've never darkened the doors of a fitness, any type of gym or any type of fitness equipment or anything in general? What would you recommend to them?
Well, I like the way I went about it, and I've given this a lot of thought because a lot of times when people set their goal, like I'm going to get in shape, they're like, I'm going to go hardcore 5-6 days a week, I'm going to eat healthy, I'm going to do all that. They really set themselves up for failure because that's a lot of habits to change at once. So what I did is I dedicated myself to 3 days a week. That's it.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
I worked with you for 3 days a week for about 4 or 5 months, and then I added a day when I felt good about that.
We went to 4 days. I do remember that as well.
Yeah. And then now I go up to 6 days a week.
Yeah.
And but you want to start and build a foundation, And the other thing you have to keep in mind is that your body, whatever condition it is, mine was really bad. Yeah. So you have to give yourself a little rope, because you're not going to be able to do things that you did in your 20s right off the bat.
Yeah.
It's going to be harder. Jumping rope, I remember I'm like, oh, he wants me to jump rope. How hard would this be? This was so easy. But it was hard.
Yeah, it's still
I struggled
hard.
with it. I'm like, why was this so easy as a kid? But now it's not a problem. So it takes a little while to build that foundation. I had to stop a lot in the beginning when we were doing your exercises.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially the cardio.
Yeah, I couldn't get through everything. I'd have to stop. I didn't quit. Like I'd stop for 5-10 seconds and start up again, And some people will beat themselves up about that. Oh, I'm no good. I can't do this. Well, you can't do this yet.
Right.
It's
like
progressive.
that. Yeah.
And, you got to keep that in mind. Because, I rarely stop for anything you do now.
I don't see it. And if it happens, it's probably a blue moon, maybe a new exercise that you're not used to. But
or having a down day where my body's a little tired. But
let's just put it this way. Rich outperforms guys a lot younger than him. Yeah. Not trying to brag to him because he don't need that. And I know that he's not like that. But yeah, you really do. You're kind of the image for people who are trying to reach themselves to the next level.
Yeah.
You mentioned something else in the beginning where you were skinny, but people commented on that and you're like, well, really, I know what exists beyond that. Yep. And I think that's one of the problems we can get into is we aesthetically think we're okay. And that's where aesthetics become dangerous, because what you said is you were changing cable or you were doing something, you were on your knees, minor work compared to what you would do now, and you were out of breath. So it goes to show you that skinny isn't fit.
No.
We put an image on something, we think, oh, well, that's the person I want to look like. But in general, it's not something you should really reach for.
Yeah, and I would go the opposite. Built isn't fit necessarily.
That's true.
Built is built.
Yeah.
A lot of those people spend a lot of time on their muscle and look great and they're strong as heck, but they can't do cardio.
Yeah.
Not all, so bodybuilders don't get on my case. I'm just saying that,
there's some good bodybuilders
a
out there.
well-rounded person who is bodybuilding incorporates cardio and can actually run a little bit and can without getting out of breath. That's one of the things you look for in a trainer when they're showing you something. If they're out of breath in the first 2 minutes, I would hit the pause button and say, okay, this probably isn't the guy for me.
Yeah.
You want someone who walks the walk and talks the talk.
Yeah.
If they just talk fitness.
Yeah. I think I know what you mean,
Yeah.
and I definitely agree with you. Muscles don't necessarily speak to fitness in general.
It looks good. It's
Sure.
just, and they're I'm not saying they're unhealthy. It's just,
Right.
all right, fitness is different than bodybuilding. It's part of it, but fitness incorporates everything. Your cardio, you can go run a Spartan race, you can go ahead and lift. There's all sorts of different goals, but you have a full fitness lifestyle.
So that's what I took away when you mentioned you did 3 Spartans, and I was thinking it was 2, so I forgot that it was 3.
Yeah.
You're right, it was 3 Spartans. If somebody had a question, would that be a way you would tell somebody how to get motivated? Like somebody your age or older, Rich, how do I get motivated? Would that be something you would suggest?
Well, it all depends on the person. I'm a competitive person by nature, so, as soon as you said it, and I wanted to do it.
That's true. He was right in.
So I'm like, well, yeah, I can do this. The first one was terrible. I hated it.
It wasn't terrible. It was good.
It was
crushed
really
it.
hard. The second 2 were a lot of fun. But I think that's really up to the individual, what motivates them. What I would encourage people is to, again, look beyond the aesthetics, look beyond the short-term goals, and evaluate your life and hope. Where do you want to be and how do you want to live going forward? What do you want your quality of life to be? Because that's really what I'm doing now, because I hiked Costa Rica. I hiked Idaho. We did cross-country trips. We've done tons of hikes. We've done Spartan races.
Hours and miles.
More and more.
Yeah.
My quality of life went from nil to unlimited. So, I wanted to have an active life. I didn't want to be someone who was going to age and, you start looking at the Sunrise nursing home and be like, when can I move in there? I wanted to be active. So, decide what life you want. Forget about the intermittent goals of losing a little bit of weight or trying to get a bigger bicep, because those are all byproducts of living a healthy, fit life, not necessarily the goal in themselves. That's what I would encourage people. Find out what kind of life do you want to live.
Yeah. I love what you said about that, because you incorporated fitness outside of the gym and you made it fun. And that's really what it is. When we say have fun, it really does mean find the fitness quality of life that you enjoy. Yeah. But you probably couldn't have done those hikes if you didn't first start to do the first 20-minute workouts and little things like that.
Absolutely. I would have been dead.
But it made it all worth it, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
When you got to that point.
And you keep that in mind. There's a different thing, working out, again, we said it's hard. Yeah. And it's painful at times. Well, I like the word discomfort more than pain.
It's pain. Pain's okay. But it's pain, yeah.
But you'll find that threshold, that pain or discomfort threshold changes as you go along. Yeah. And when you get beyond certain points where you can oh, this used to kill me at this point, and you'll see your progression, and you look forward to that challenge of the next time where something's a little too hard to do. The great thing about him is, he doesn't avoid the exercises everyone hates.
That's true. I kind of flock to the.
I know when I trained by myself in my earlier years, I did all the glory muscles. I'm gonna show my biceps, my chest. Yeah. That's what I'll work. And then touch my legs. My hip flexors,
once a
whatever. Anything that was too hard, I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
You don't really have a choice when you do it with a trainer, and I am so much better for it. More balanced. I have flexibility I never had. And balance, I never had. Remember when I started balance, it looked like I was having a seizure half the time. It was terrible. I remember one particular time, you had to give me a modification. I think it was iron pants. And I couldn't even do the modification. You were like, okay, well, let's just put this to the side. It was that bad. So don't be discouraged if you're bad at something in the beginning, because I was terrible at a lot of it in the beginning.
And I don't have video proof of this, but years ago I was terrible at balance.
Yeah.
What got me better at balance was wrestling, but balance is something that you develop in time.
Yeah, and now look at you're mediocre at it.
Yeah, it's somewhat mediocre. He's got a point. One of the things that I truly loved, if those of you who are 40 and above, and I think a lot of trainers would relate to this, because you mentioned pain, and I know what you meant when you're trying to distinguish between pain and discomfort, because there is actually a difference. We say pain, but it's not real pain, like you're hurting pain. But what I've recognized with people over 40 is that they've been through life, and there's something that can be translated very well with somebody who's handled life and is able to basically take that to the gym. And it translates really well when you leave the gym as well, because you're so used to handling those stressors of the day that's basically what working out is. Yeah. You're stressing yourself with reps, you're stressing yourself with time under tension and pain, but you can handle that because you've been there before. And that's what I've noticed with people who are older in years. They have a better mindset on handling it. So if you think you're behind as a result of you being 40 or older,
you're not.
You have some advantages, and that's one of them. Yeah,
I think, for me, because I don't want to insult there's some very mature 20-year-olds out there.
Absolutely. That wasn't my point.
Yeah. I had no sense of priorities in my youth.
Yeah.
It was all about fun. That's where I think the biggest advantage for me was in my 40s when I started this time again, was I had a better sense of what my priorities are and what I wanted and who I wanted to be.
Yeah.
God bless those young people who already know that. Keep it up.
Yeah.
If you don't give up on yourself. A lot of the things we're talking about apply to the younger folk as well as the middle-aged and the older folk. I mean, It's being sensible, building a foundation, setting realistic goals, not looking at the short-term gains as the end game. Developing a fit, healthy lifestyle and balancing that off with nutrition, because that was also something I had to learn.
Yeah. So I have a lot of comments coming in.
Okay.
Let's go over some of these. First of all, Miss Hollywood talks about how she's working out 30 minutes, an hour almost every day, varying from weight training, kickboxing, Pilates, etc. Scale won't budge. There's no question there, but what would you say to something like that?
Okay, first of all, I haven't again, people look at me and they go, oh, he's skinny, he doesn't have to worry about the weight scale.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I was in high school, I was 6'3", 149 pounds. That's pretty darn skinny. I had the opposite problem with people who were trying to lose weight. I couldn't put it on. And so, I used to get on scale all the time, eat like a horse, and my metabolism just burnt right through. Yeah. So as I got older, I had the opposite, where I wasn't heavy, but I had this gut I couldn't get rid of. And I wanted to still gain weight, muscle, and all that. And I'd get on the scale, and it became demotivating to me. So I just put the scale away. I haven't been on a scale in a year.
Yeah.
We all have different metabolisms, and the other thing to keep in mind, as you're working out, you're building muscle, so you're replacing fat with muscle.
Yeah.
And so the scale may not adjust as much as you would like. See how your clothes are fitting, because chances are you're going to feel it a little looser in the waist, but you might be a little bit bigger in the arms or the shoulders or the back. I would say look at your nutrition, because that's usually where people trip up. I'm sure that's not the problem from Miss Hollywood, but a lot of people do trip up on the nutrition, and I didn't really see gains even after the first year until I started changing my nutrition.
Yeah, nutrition's a big part.
It's true what they say, 80% nutrition, 20%,
And most of the discipline really does come into nutrition, which is one of the reasons videos in the past I talked about I didn't push nutrition until you got used to the fitness first.
And that, thank God.
Yeah. Right? I mean, you didn't really want me preaching about
because
broccoli
it's a
and lean.
lot. It's hard when you're starting to work out. I mean, because you're sore, and having to think about other things. All I had to do was focus on working out until I was ready to say, okay, now I'm ready to take the next step.
Next level.
And so, give yourself a break on that a little bit too. And again, one last thing on nutrition. I'm not a nutritionist or anything like that, but It's not as hard as you think.
Yeah.
It really isn't. You pick whole foods. You pick foods with no more than 5 ingredients, and they should be all natural ingredients. Try to stay away from processed foods. I cook twice a week. I cook in batches. So I have food in my fridge whenever I need it, and I take it to work, and it really is not that difficult.
Yeah.
A lot of people get worried that I don't have time. If it's important to you, if your fitness and your health is important to you, and you want to, trim down and build muscle, you'll find a way to make the time. Anything that's important to you, you find the time for.
Absolutely. And not only that, it becomes less of a chore.
It really does.
It becomes more of you have a craving for the healthy stuff. I know that doesn't sound right
True.
now, but your taste buds change.
I remember when I started eating healthy, it was right before my second Spartan race. It was like 6 months of eating healthy. Yeah. I decided to treat myself and get Chipotle. And I was like, wow, this is so salty. My taste buds don't like this.
Yeah.
Not that Chipotle's bad. Don't get mad at me, Chipotle. I know you've had your issues lately. But I'm just saying, there's no replacing good, whole, natural foods, veggies, meats. If you're vegan, there's plenty of good vegan and vegetarian options out there. I love black beans. Costa Rica taught me a lot about black beans and rice.
Miss you, Costa Rica.
So I eat that a lot now, too. So,
Awesome. Speaking of Costa Rica, AQ Chino, just get a few shout outs of those of you who have mentioned that they were 40. He said he's 41. I know he does a lot of working out, so keep it up. Anna as well. Anna is like a fitness machine.
She's awesome.
She does everybody's YouTube video on YouTube.
She does.
I'm convinced of that, Anna.
I don't know
and
where
she said
sleeps.
she's 45. I don't think she does sleep. Anna, do you sleep? Leave that in the comments.
She even apologizes if she's late to one of your
Yeah.
live like you're a teacher. And I'm like, oh, Anna, give yourself a break.
It's pretty amazing. Now, AQ Chino brought up a really good point, and you might want to talk about this. He said, Rich should have brought a before picture. But you actually have one. Now, we don't have it with us, but
I'll post it.
Yeah.
We'll post it on the Relentless Fit Facebook page.
We'll see it before and after.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find some good ones. And again, you'll see it more in my face in the one.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can find an old high school one that's kind of hilarious to see me how skinny I was, too.
So it went from skinny to just out of shape.
Yeah.
But now you're fit and you're flying down the sidewalk. He walks really fast.
Yeah.
That's another good thing about him. Chris is here. Paprika.
She's
also over 40, by the way. So those people who...
she doesn't look it.
No, not at all. Accused of being a trainer herself, and another example of somebody who she's able to juggle a lot of things. I know when you're older, you start getting more responsibilities, and busy starts to becoming the number one reason as to why. Of course, it's time, but you want to put your kids first and things
Absolutely.
like that. She made it happen.
Yeah.
And just because you don't have kids, you're certainly busy, and your priorities have changed from now as to what they were in their 20s.
Yeah. Well, I have a full-time job. I work for a major computer company.
Yeah.
So I'm there. I'm at the office around 7:30 a.m. and I get home around 5:30 p.m. I got 2 dogs that require attention. I mean, I am not a parent. I can't. My sister, she's a teacher with 3 kids who are all active in sports, and she's very active in their lives. Make sure they get to their sporting events, and she's always at their sporting events. And she works out 4 or 5 times a week. I don't know how the hell she does it.
It's crazy.
I struggle with 2 dogs.
Yeah,
but again, it's important to her, so she finds the time and the way. And the other thing I would say is people are like, oh, I need my sleep. Well, you'll find your sleep balance. You really will. I used to think I need 8 hours sleep. I probably get 5 to 6 now on a good day. True. And that's all I need. If I get more than that, I tend to be draggy and tired.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's a little different on that, though.
And you're not used to sleeping late in the day either, so your body's kind of reacting.
I'll take a nap on the weekend.
Speaking of which, this is what he did. He took today off, so played hooky. But no, it was a real day.
I got permission to play hooky.
Talking about people who have kids and always juggling things, I'm always amazed with that. And those of you who have kids, who are older in years and who continue to try to stay fit, you guys are actually my inspiration. Yeah. I mean it. I look at it. My sister has 5 kids. I've seen other people who have 6 kids, and I don't know how they can do it. Like you said, to be able to juggle that time and that time management ability and still find a way to fit your health in
It's
there.
amazing. It really is.
And they cook healthy meals, and they still, just
I
keep
see
it
a
up.
I see a lot of moms doing that. We need some reports from some dads.
Yeah, that's true.
We do. We need some dads out there to come forward and say, hey, I do this too. But we see a lot of moms doing it. And that is awesome. I mean, we had a baby here the other day while we were working out.
Yeah,
And the
sitting
baby was so
right over
good.
here.
But, that's, if it's important to you, you find a way to fit it in.
Yeah.
And it's the best decision you'll make in your life. I mean, it really does improve your quality of life.
So that crying was the baby. I thought that was you.
Well, it might have been me.
Oh, it's probably me too.
I'm a silent crier. I kind of just let the tears do the talking.
What do you think of our new friend here?
Oh, he's awesome. We got to find a name for him because DeBronk doesn't work. Sorry.
Dubrock. I don't know. You say Dubrock. What is your game?
Ivar the Relentless.
Ivar the Relentless. I don't know. It's a honey badger. I don't know if you can see that. There's a honey badger. Give you a little bite. Honey badgers don't kiss, they bite. Our sloth kisses, but yeah. If you guys have a better name for Dubrock or Ivar the Relentless, or he'll probably never have a name, but the honey badger's a scrappy fella. Yeah. And in life you kind of have to be that way. That's one of the reasons why we kind of adopted it. So all right, let's get beyond the struggles through fitness. How, like right now in your fitness life, like what are the things that you're grateful for that you've done for yourself? Could you imagine anything different right now?
I can't imagine anything different. I don't know where I would be if I didn't make that choice, 3 years ago. My health was in decline.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, there's someone at the door, so
Keep
we're
talking,
trying to
Rich.
tell them to, bug off. So yeah, my health was in decline. So I can't imagine where I would be if I didn't choose fitness. Where I'm going, again, as I said, that's always changing. Right now we're starting to lift a little heavier, a little more often to put on some muscle. I'm really excited about where my fitness is going. And I'm looking forward to the next year to see what the results will be, and hopefully I'll be back here to share and show and have some before and after pictures of that too. So we got our package. Sorry about that.
Thank you, FedEx. So what were you saying? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't even recall. I lost the question in my head.
Sometimes it just happens. All right, so a few more questions, and then we'll let you go we'll let the people go if you have questions with that. All the backup and the support. Flex Formation, good to see you, buddy. Hope things are going well. A lot of other YouTube.
I saw his beach workout on Facebook today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, I wish we had a beach. Not really. Oh, here's a comment before I go into it. I'm 22, but still good takeaways from this video for me transitioning from college into my career and continuing with my healthy, active, vegan lifestyle. Thank you for this. Amber, keep up the good work. The fact that you're aware of it now, you're going to thank yourself 20 years later.
Keep it a priority.
Yeah.
And don't be surprised. Like, one thing that I haven't brought up is, like, when I started to change and go into this fitness lifestyle, I got a lot of the, like, really? Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Kind of like passive aggressive fit shaming.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not a big into the shaming stuff. I'm like, I grew up in the 70s and 80s where you just kind of turned your cheek and you
be a honey badger.
Be a honey badger.
Yeah,
so I mean, it didn't bother me, but I was caught off guard by it. I'm like, why would that upset you that I'm doing that? So if you get that, chances are that person, you're making them look at themselves.
Yeah,
and
of course.
It makes them uncomfortable. So in some way, you can feel bad for them and just continue to be a positive example, because they may come to you down the road and say, you know what, I need your help. How did you do this?
Yeah.
Because I've had that too. So it's a great thing when you can influence someone else to start being healthy. And I've been fortunate to have several people that I've influenced. He's the biggest influence on me. So I'm passing it down as best as I can.
Well, you've done a great job, and my clients, and certainly your progression and where you've come, always motivates me. I mean, that's one of the benefits every trainer has. They just love to look back and see that, and it does. It inspires us. That's one of the reasons we stay in the business. So, Amber, good job. I mean, the fact that you're doing it now, congratulations on your career. and we wish the best for you. And being in better shape is going to actually help your career.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. You're going to have more energy. You're going to walk with your posture better. You're going to have more confidence. People will see that, and it will better your career. It might sound strange, but down the road, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You agree with that? Or am I just
Absolutely.
making
Active,
it up?
busy people tend to stay active and busy and healthy. I mean, what's the Spartan runner? Amelia Blunt. The blonde.
Yeah, I don't know.
She works for Apple. She's a lawyer.
Amelia?
She's I can't remember her first name.
Yeah.
It's the old thing. But anyway, she's a Spartan champ and constantly running for the top spot for women in Spartan. And she's maybe approaching 30 or maybe early 30s now.
Yeah, I think she's over 30. I think she's over 30.
Yeah, but she wasn't when she started. I mean, this woman has got to be crazy busy.
Boone. I thank you, Christina.
Yeah. Amelia Boone.
Amelia Boone. Thank you.
Look her up. I mean, it's great to find a role model. Okay. I'm not a big fan of people who try to be another person, but find someone as a role model and take away what you can from him. A mentor. Like I consider Jake a role model and a mentor. I don't want to be anything like him, but
that's probably a good thing.
But I learn a lot from him. And there's other people out there that I look at in the YouTube world of Facebook that I get things out of for different reasons. And, it makes me think and challenge my perceptions and to grow. So, again, Amber being an active, busy person, I think she'll probably do great because she's already established that habit and she's going to continue forward and she'll probably be very accomplished and surpass people who aren't.
Awesome. I got another comment. Starting is tough, especially when you're older, out of shape. But once you start going, you want more for sure.
Absolutely.
So, is it truly an addiction, or is it just something that you think fit people make up? Good comment, by the way. That was Tia.
I think it's can be an addiction. I think it's more so that you see the fruits of it.
That's what I think.
And you want more fruit.
Yeah, exactly. It does make you feel better, and you miss that feeling.
Yeah.
And when you miss, you get this guilty feeling, and your body's like, "What are you doing to me?"
Yeah, you want to train smart. I mean, I've seen comments out there, people like, I train 4-6 hours a day, and I'm like, that's a lot of training.
Yeah.
And that's probably not the healthiest thing to do. Again, it depends. Athletes may train that hard. I'm not sure, but I'm not a pro athlete. But you can overtrain and really do damage to what you're trying to accomplish. So train smart. Most people out there that I've researched and people I respect suggest training no more than an hour a day. I mean, you can go over a little bit, but you want to be smart and you want to make sure you incorporate strength with cardio and rotate stuff so that you're giving your muscles proper time to rest.
Absolutely. This will solidify what you just said, Rich. Gina, I'm 50 and in the best shape of my life. 2 years ago I started. 2 years ago she started. Who knew I would feel so much better? Gina, keep up the good work.
That is awesome, Gina.
Absolutely.
You're never too old.
No, of course not. That's ridiculous. As long as you have a breath of life, you can do
Yeah,
something.
I know. I mean, I thought that's probably what stopped me for a while. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it's too late. I'm too old.
And you could probably run laps around yourself when you were 20.
Oh, yeah.
There are differences. The recovery's different. But I
That
actually...
even changes.
Does it? I mean...
Yeah. So my first part, I needed like a week to recover from that. I mean, that was terrible. But my second two, I mean, I was good within 24 hours. So I think, again, balancing the nutrition with the fitness, I'm not seeing this last year where my recovery time's any slower than when I was younger.
Yeah.
Now, you got to get to that point.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
it takes a little while to get to that point the earlier you get because your metabolism has been slow for a while. It's going to take a while. So even losing weight can take a little longer. But once you start kicking, you'll see the progress.
Yeah, and so the recovery is better then for the most part.
Yeah, it's no different. Okay. I don't think.
Iris, she says, thank you. Just started doing triathlons at 42. Best times of my life now.
Awesome.
Of course they are. Because you're crushing people half your age probably.
Yeah, that is a nice thing.
All right, we're basically out of time. I appreciate all the comments. Flex, one more thing. He's talking about Anna, how she's motivating, and you guys
Absolutely.
really are. You keep posting your fitness. A lot of times people take a lot of stick for posting their fitness success. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
Because there's people out there that are inspired by that.
Yeah, I'll say one thing about that, because
please.
like I post a lot of fitness stuff.
Yeah, I
and once in a while I'll get something negative, or I'll feel stupid. Like, am I overdoing it? Am I bragging? And I came to the conclusion, like, who cares? But it led to other people coming to me and say, you've really motivated me.
Yeah.
I started fit. I know I helped motivate my sister to get back into it, and she's a warrior. I mean, she's crazy now. She's crazier than me. But there's other people in my life that have picked up the baton of fitness because of things I posted. So even though I may get some negative, or some people like, oh, he's so cocky, which I'm really not. If I can help one or two people here in a year, and every year do the same.
And people have been inspired by him just locally by seeing what he's doing and seeing where he's progressed.
Yeah.
Keep doing it. Do it unapologetically, because you're not hurting people. You are promoting a good thing, and it certainly is better. I'd rather get a bunch of selfies of people finishing a workout in my feed than somebody complaining about politics or something like that.
One more thing that always gets on my skin.
Yeah.
So those before and after photos, the ones you see at a lot of these. Those are usually doctored. First of all, do not compare yourself to that, okay?
Yeah.
Don't compare yourself only to yourself, okay?
That's a good recommendation.
Don't look, if you're 5'2" and you're like, I want to have a body like Naomi Campbell. Again, I'm old, so I don't know any of the new models. You're probably not going to look like Naomi Campbell. She's like 5'10", 6 foot, okay?
Yeah.
So we all have different body types. Appreciate your body. I used to get down on myself because I'm a hard gainer. I'm skinny. I'm tall and skinny. I wanted to be stocky and built like Jake. I'm not going to be stocky and built like Jake. Jake's not stocky. He's, what are you, 5'11"?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I have a different body, so I had to learn to appreciate that and stop comparing myself to these standards that marketing companies set forth in front of you. Don't even pay no attention to them.
And other people have your physique. They have your body. They want that tone that you have.
Everyone wants something different.
And you are an inspiration to people that can relate to you.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, people are not going to always relate to me.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty. That's why I always say, share your fitness success. Keep it up.
And women especially, because men, we have like 2 body types. Women have a variety of body types, different curves, and appreciate that. I mean, work with what you have and make it the best you can be. Don't worry about anyone else or comparing yourself to anyone else.
Totally agree. Got a few more questions. We're out of time. One, first of all, from Flex. He must have missed it. Actually, we didn't even say. We just said you were over 40.
Yeah.
Flex Formation, from Flex Formation. He's got a channel. Check it out. His question is, how old are you?
I'm 46, going to be 47 in 3 weeks.
47 in 3 weeks. And I'm 38. So there you go. I'm getting close. Right around that, over the hill. And then I'll be talking.
I got to find a new trainer in a couple of years. He's going to be too old.
My husband is 53 and I'm 47, and we love working out with you. We enjoy and have fun. Thank you so much, Teresa. That really means a lot.
That's
Keep
awesome.
up the good work. The best way to get the best results are to have somebody next to you who aspires to get into better shape as well.
Yeah. And I would say, if you're just starting off, it can be hard doing it alone. If you can find a personal trainer studio that offers small group training, it's usually more affordable and usually more in line with what you would pay for a nice gym. Do that.
Unless you have a trainer like me where you charge based on age, so Rich pays double what most of my clients pay.
I get a senior discount.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a great way because the small group training, it's different than a big box gym where you could have 20 people in a room. You're going to have 4 or 5 people with you, and you'll get to know them, and that helps motivate you. If you can find something, the YMCA usually has stuff like that as well.
Yeah,
that's usually very affordable. Mm-hmm. So, get on Yelp, get on the internet, find some of these places and check it out. Even if you only do it for a month or 2 just to get yourself started, that's a great way to go, especially in the beginning.
Awesome. So, all right, here's a couple more questions, and then we do have to go. I think we're past time, but we appreciate all the comments. Definitely appreciate the engagement, and continue continue building each other up, because that's where you're getting your results. So, first of all, what's your favorite exercise?
Oh, my favorite exercise. That's a tough one.
Before you answer that one, what's your least favorite exercise? There's so many.
There really are. Well, it's weird. My least favorite one used to be anything Wolverine.
Anything Wolverine, he said.
It's getting that low and the misdirection of pain that catches you off guard. But I actually like the Wolverines now.
Yeah, you got used to them.
Yeah, well, I'm better at them too. I like any of the push-up challenges. To be honest, typical guy.
Yeah.
I like anything.
Yeah, and I think I agree with you.
Yeah,
me too.
Any of the push-up ones. The ones I don't like, I'm not a big fan of the resistant bands.
Oh yeah, we don't do those on video anymore, but yeah, those can be.
They're challenging.
Yeah.
But it's a weird kind of resistant. Know. And the way you do it, you just make them terrible for me. So
That's true. And just out of curiosity, but it's funny. Anna brought up gazelle hops. I'm assuming she's referring to lame gazelle.
Yeah. Lame gazelles. Those are the worst. Those are the worst. That's my least favorite exercise. There you go. Thank you, Anna. I can't always remember the names. There's so many.
Gina agrees as well. So, all right. What is your favorite health food?
Ground turkey, because I make ground turkey meatballs every week. It's very easy, takes 20 minutes, and I got a bunch of protein, and you can really add a lot of spice and different flavors to them too. So it's really good meat to add flavors to too, because it's not overpowering. So I would say that's probably my favorite. I also like Greek yogurt. It's a nice standby for me. Plain. Okay. If you get the stuff with the fruit and all that, you're just eating sugar. So.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, speaking of sugar, what would be your first favorite go-to cheat meal or cheat snack?
It's absolutely pizza.
Oh, we're from Chicago. Of course it's pizza.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have a specific place?
I'm from Michigan. So we created pizza with Domino's and Little Caesars and Hungry Howie's and
They
Jets.
didn't create pizza.
So we're the capital of the pizza corporation. Sorry.
Nobody's ever heard of this.
So it's my pizza taste is like my beer taste. It's cheap and fast.
That works.
I tend to like cheap pizza.
That tends to be the tastiest, I'm sure. Someone said, Gina, chocolate cake. Yeah.
Chocolate cake's never bad.
All health foods. My cheat meal is burger and fries. That's a good one.
That's a good one too. That's fallback actually.
Chris is like, Rich, I thought you liked Twinkies.
I do like Twinkies,
What?
but I don't.
You do?
I have maybe one a year. It's usually during a point of depression after leaving Jake and he's hurt my feelings. I get a Twinkie.
What else is new?
Once a year, maybe.
Well, those Twinkies are good for like the entire year anyway, aren't they?
Well, I stop at 7-Eleven. I'll pick a new one.
Tater tots. Oh man, I loved tater tots. Who said that?
Anything.
Iris, I loved tater.
Anything potato products pretty darn good.
Fried potato products, yeah. Little Debbie's. Come on, Flex. Are you
those
serious?
Are good. Little Debbie's are good. Have you ever done them frozen?
What's the matter with you guys? I like Little Debbie's. All right, guys. I appreciate the comments. Call Pierre.
Yes, thank you.
He said he's just kidding.
I'm not.
Rich wasn't
They're
kidding.
good frozen.
Rich, I appreciate you taking the time.
problem,
We
buddy.
went a little over, so thanks for doing that for us. And our little honey badger. We'll come up with a name. I don't know. Give us a name. Maybe it'll stick. Right now, it's just honey badger. Maybe that's best. Honey badgers, you can't really tie them down to any name, huh?
Ivor.
That's such a stupid.
Yeah, and those people who are talking about who are over 40 and their 50s working out and changing their life, tag us, post it for us so we can see it. Send us your story. I love seeing that stuff. It helps me.
Absolutely. Please share it because that is an inspiration. It does motivate people. If you think people aren't watching, you are wrong. People see it.
Absolutely.
They are inspired by it. If it pushes some people out of the way, like Rich said, it's probably because it puts a mirror in their face and says they need to live a better life.
Yeah, people don't like to face that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. This is Rich. I'm Relentless Jake. Always remember, eat healthy, train hard, most especially have fun. And I've got nothing else to say. You want to give the BAM?
Sure.
And we're out. Bam! I'm on Instagram. Gina, we will check you out on Instagram. Look us up on Instagram. And we'll follow you as well.
Absolutely.
Since we're still here, don't forget to check out RelentlessFit365.com. And I read a comment.
It's free.
Yeah, it's free. And that brings me to another point because I did read a comment that someone thought that it was asking for a credit card.
No.
It's not. When it says pay, You click on that and you're done. You don't have to put a credit card. If it
Yeah.
asks you for a credit card, you're not on my website. My website no longer accepts credit cards. It did charge some people last month, and I reimbursed everybody, but that was just a glitch because it was the third
Those were
party
the
company.
former people
Yeah,
who used to
the
pay
former.
for the monthly, and
Exactly.
then we made it free. So
There-
it's no one who signed up recently has had.
There
that.
is no monthly charge. There will be some workouts in the end.
Yeah,
that
there's
will
a
be, but-
what 9-week.
4-week beginner. There's a 9-week jump start if you think you're beyond beginner. And then there's
6-week and a 4-week.
Yeah, the 6 weeks the intermediate, the 4 weeks the elite.
The elite.
Yeah.
Programs out there, so people are always, do you have a program file? That's a great place to go. And then
Yeah.
you got the 30-month challenges, which
Challenges
are
are
also
always
basically
fun.
programs on their own. So that's a great place to start. You're not going to find this free anywhere else.
And there's more programs coming soon.
There are.
All right, Rich is going to be in one of them.
Maybe.
Was that
Agent's still working out the details.
I don't think it was pushed. Thanks, guys.